Hey everyone, before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to hear if anyone has been through something like this because it completely changed my life and the way I see family. I woke up in the hospital bed to the sound of beeping machines and the smell of antiseptic. My body ached in ways I didn't even know were possible. My car accident had left me bruised, battered, and completely alone in that sterile room. After a few minutes, I picked up my phone and wrote a message to my family. Can't wait for you to come. I expected texts from my parents, maybe calls from my siblings. But hours passed and nothing. My phone stayed silent except for notifications from work and friends, all asking if I was okay. I tried to convince myself it was fine. Maybe they were busy, maybe they hadn't seen it yet. But that little voice in my head kept whispering that something was wrong. Late that evening, my phone vibrated. My dad had replied, "Sorry, we're busy. Maybe tomorrow." My chest sank. I couldn't explain why, but those words hit me harder than the accident ever could. Busy? My life had just been in danger and I was busy? I shook my head, trying to rationalize it. Maybe it wasn't about me. Maybe it really was something urgent. The next day, things didn't get better. Missed calls from my mom, vague excuses from my sister, and a sense of distance I couldn't understand. Even the nurse noticed my unease. "You okay?" she asked. "You seem unsettled." I forced a smile. "Yeah, just sore, I guess." But I wasn't. I started noticing subtle signs. The way my sister avoided my eyes when she visited. The way my dad's voice sounded strained on the phone. And that tiny hesitation before anyone spoke about the accident. Something was off and I couldn't shake the feeling. A few days later, I received a message from my sister. I opened it with a mix of hope and dread. "Hey, can't visit yet. You'll understand soon." My heart sank. What did that mean? What was I supposed to understand? I tried to brush it off, tried to tell myself I was imagining things, but the doubt kept growing. Then I overheard my parents talking in the hallway outside my room. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but their words carried clearly. "He's overreacting again. Maybe he doesn't need to know yet." Overreacting? I had survived a near-fatal car accident, and they were calling me overreacting? Confusion, anger, and betrayal coursed through me. My own family was hiding something and I didn't know what or why. The next evening, my sister came to my room finally. She sat down carefully, avoiding my gaze. I should have told you earlier," she whispered. "Should have told me what?" I demanded, voice tight. She sighed, hands trembling. "Dad and Mom, they're struggling financially. After your accident, they thought you'd need help, and they didn't want to worry you. They've been taking some of your savings to cover things." I stared at her, disbelief clawing at me. "My savings? How long?" "Since before the accident," she admitted. "We thought we were protecting you. We didn't want you to feel like you had to worry about anything else while you were healing." I sank back in my bed, numb. Part of me understood, part of me wanted to forgive, but another part of me felt completely betrayed. Every missed call, every vague excuse, every "we're busy" response now made sense, but it didn't make it hurt any less. I asked my dad to come to the hospital. When he arrived, his face was pale, guilt etched into every line. I thought I was doing the right thing," he said softly. "We didn't want to stress you, not while you were recovering." "I get that," I said slowly, trying to steady my voice. "But you don't get to decide how I handle my own life. My money, my choices, it's mine. Feel, I don't know, invisible. Even after everything." His eyes filled with tears. "I know. I see that now. And I'm so sorry. We thought we were protecting you, but we should have trusted you to handle your own life." The next few weeks were a mixture of awkward conversations and fragile reconciliation. I felt hurt, yes, but also strangely grateful. My family hadn't intended to hurt me out of malice. They had acted out of fear, love, and their own flawed judgment. But love without honesty is still betrayal. I spent hours reflecting on what had happened. I realized I had been so dependent on my family's presence and approval that I hadn't considered that they could act wrongly, even with the best intentions. I also understood the importance of boundaries, of clear communication, and of not letting fear dictate how I am treated. When I finally left the hospital, I felt stronger. Not physically yet, my body was still healing, but emotionally. I could face them without anger clouding every word. I could forgive without erasing the lesson I had learned. Trust had to be rebuilt carefully and deliberately, but I knew I could do it. One night, as I sat alone in my apartment, I thought back to that first message I sent. "Can't wait for you to come." I realized it had been more than just a text. It had been hope, faith in family, and love. And even though that hope had been met with silence and hidden truths, it had survived. I had survived. I sent my parents a message quietly, without expectation. "Thank you for being here now. I know you were scared, but I'm ready to rebuild trust. Together." It wasn't a perfect resolution, and it might never be, but it was a start. And sometimes that's all any of us can ask for. Thanks for listening. If you've ever felt betrayed, even by the people you love the most, I want to hear your story. Drop it in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories about heartbreak, trust, and finding strength in yourself.